Nigeria has one of the youngest populations on earth. More than 120 million Nigerians are under 30. But when decisions are being made about our future, we are missing from the table. This is not just negligence. It is a democratic scandal. Because when you don't show up, your silence becomes the loudest voice in the room. And silence in politics always gets interpreted as consent. The Local Government Autonomy Amendment has been tabled 3 times, but governors block it. Because for decades, governors have hijacked local government funds. They control the funds and do not want independent local council. Even President Muhammadu Buhari lamented publicly that many local governments were not functioning because state government withheld their allocations. The National Assembly has been quietly changing the rules of your life without your signature, without your consent, and without even your knowledge. They change the rules of the land, and the people signing in your name, some of them don't even carry a Nigerian passport. Stay with me. The Constitution of Nigeria, our supreme document, has been altered, rewritten, fine-tuned, and patched in most ways that most of us even notice. In 2025 alone, over 86 constitutional amendment bill has been tabled in the National Assembly for debate. And yet, ask most young Nigerians how many amendments has been passed this year, and they'll just be looking at you. Ask them how the process even works, and they'll just be silent. Meanwhile, committees are meeting and zonal hearings are happening. Development partners are drafting memos in the shadows. Foreigners are quietly influencing the DNA of our national life. And the people who should be the loudest in the room, the Nigerian youth, are nowhere to be found. This is not just negligence. It is a democratic scandal. Because when you don't show up, your silence becomes the loudest voice in the room. And silence in politics always gets interpreted as consent. Imagine this. You walk into a massive hall in Abuja during a public hearing. Instead of young people who make up over 60% of Nigeria's population, you see the usual group, a delegation from Nigerian Labour Congress, a coalition of NGOs, international donors, and some lawyers. The youth seats are empty. And yet, Nigeria has one of the youngest populations on earth. More than 120 million Nigerians are under 30. But when decisions are being made about our future, we are missing from the table. Empty chairs have consequences. When young people don't show up, amendments on critical issues get decided without us. The Local Government Autonomy Amendment has been tabled 3 times, but governors block it. Because for decades, governors have hijacked local government funds. They control the funds and do not want independent local council. Even President Muhammadu Buhari lamented publicly that many local governments were not functioning because state government withheld their allocation. In 2022, over 35 states' assembly rejected or ignored transmission of that amendment, despite overwhelming public support. That's not democracy. That's hostage. But if young people show up, maybe we can force their hands. What about state police? With insecurity in Nigeria, this is a very important debate. It's about whether your community gets to decide its own fate, its own strategy for engaging local insecurity. When the amendment surfaced in 2020, it vanished after security chiefs warned legislators in private meetings that decentralizing force would threaten national security. My interpretation of this is that politicians in Abuja want to keep monopoly on violence. Showing up for public hearing is not just optional. The Constitution is not theory. It's about your money, your safety, your political future. And if you're not in the room, your governors your senators, and even foreign consultants are signing in your place. Quick question. Do you actually know how Nigeria's constitution gets amended? Don't worry. Most people don't. Stick with me, and in the next few minutes, I will show you the exact steps. Clear and simple. Step 1. The proposal stage. Amendments may originate from a legislature, the executive, the president even, or through citizens via a legislator. Once proposed, the bill is submitted to presiding officers for referral and then introduced. Step 2. Debate and committee stage. After first reading, the bill proceeds to second reading and is referred to the Constitution Review Committee, which conducts public hearings and consultations. Step 3. National Assembly approval. Most amendments require 2/3 majority in both the Senate and the House. But amendments concerning Section 8, state creation or boundary adjustments, Chapter 4, fundamental rights, or Section 9 itself demands a more stringent 4/5 majority. Step 4. Harmonization, if needed. If the Senate and the House pass different versions of the bill, a joint conference committee resolves differences to ensure identical texts. Step 5. State assemblies. Approved bills are transmitted to all 36 state assembly. At least 2/3, which is 24, must approve, often by just simple majority, although some assemblies may step it down rather than vote a no. Step 6. Presidential assent. The Constitution, Section 9, does not explicitly require the president's assent, but the Supreme Court and legal practice, including a 2010 Federal High Court ruling, indicates that the assent is required, as Amendment Act resemble ordinary legislation. If President vetoes it, the National Assembly can override it with a 2/3 majority. Why do most bills fail? Because governors block them at the state level. For example, in 2010, the National Assembly tried to guarantee financial autonomy for local governments. Many state assemblies killed it because governors did not want to lose control of billions of naira in local allocation. This is why civic education matters. If you want an amendment to pass, you cannot just focus on Abuja. You must focus on your state assembly as well. That's where the bottleneck is most of the time. Youth coalitions need to decentralize their advocacy. Instead of everyone flying to Abuja, mobilize in your state. Form pressure groups that target local representatives. Demand public hearings at the state level. Abuja is only the first gate. The real gatekeepers are in your state capitals. But wait, who really sits at the table when constitutional amendments are being shaped? Publicly, it looks Nigerian. But look behind the curtain. There are technical memos, briefing papers prepared by international development partners, legal research funded by foreign donors. These are the unseen fingerprints in the process. Here's a fact. In the 9th Assembly amendment process, more than 40% of technical reports submitted to committees were donor funded. That means nearly half of the expert evidence lawmakers relied on did not come from the Nigerian institutions. Now, don't get me wrong. Technical assistance is not inherently bad. In fact, Nigeria has benefited hugely from comparative knowledge. But the point is this: if foreigners are shaping the debate more than citizens, whose constitution are we really amending? The access of young people makes the donor voice even louder. Silence creates vacuum, and the vacuums will always be filled. A 2023 Afrobarometer survey found that 72% of Nigerians under 30 had never contacted an elected representative in their lifetime. 72%. That's nearly 3 out of every 4 young Nigerians. They've never written a memo, never attended a hearing, never walked into the office of a rep. And then we wonder why donor reports become the voice of the people. It is not just about elections. Public hearings on constitutional amendments gives opportunity to make our voices heard. If you are not in those rooms, somebody else is there. And those people are lobbyists, contractors, donor agents, and the same political class who profit from keeping young people uninformed. Every time young Nigerians skip those hearings, they give away the pen that writes our future. We have to give ourselves a fighting chance by being in the battlefield at least, even if we lose. Imagine if student unions, NYSC groups, deliberately organized delegations to attend those hearings. Even 500 young Nigerians showing up consistently would force the press to cover us, force lawmakers to listen, and force history to record our voices. Empty chairs are silent votes for the status quo. What is a constitution really worth if the people it governs had no hand in making it? For starters, the Nigerian constitution was never born from the Nigerian people. It was handed down by the military with no single citizen signature on it. In fact, between 1999 and 2023 alone, it had already been amended multiple times. Yet, most Nigerians can't even name 5 of those changes. Think about it. The rules of our democracy keep shifting, and the people they govern remain in the dark. A survey revealed that only about 23% of Nigerians say they had somewhat good knowledge of the Constitution. Let that sink in. It means that more than 7 in 10 Nigerians do not know the rules of the land. The biggest problem with Nigeria's constitutional amendment is not just politicians or foreign actors or lobbyists. It is us, the people. National Assembly hearings often record less than 200 citizens in attendance for a hall with 1,000 capacity. Yet, over 50,000 young people show up for music concerts every other week. This explains the Nigeria tragedy. We complain about bad governance, but when invited to shape the rules, we are nowhere to be found. Politicians know this, and they count on our absence. And when we are absent, the vacuum is filled by international NGOs, political contractors, and sessional elites who come with their own document, who write our future while we are stuck on Twitter Spaces. Civic awareness is not just about going out to vote. It's about showing up when the laws are made. Imagine if 3 million Nigerians flooded National Assembly hearings across the country. Politicians would tremble. Our laws would look different. History teaches us that laws don't bend because leaders wake up feeling generous. Reforms happen because the people organized to make it difficult for politicians to ignore the real issues. In the US, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 wasn't passed because politicians wanted it. It passed because Black Americans marched, boycotted buses, endured police dogs, and refused to stay silent. In Chile, a youth-driven constitutional movement recently forced a nationwide referendum. In Kenya, the 2010 constitution emerged after years of organized citizen resistance and coalition building. In 2022, the Senate Committee on Constitutional Review scheduled 13 public hearings across Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones. In Lagos, the hearing room was built to accommodate 1,000 participants. Less than 150 people showed up. In Abuja, only 200. Compare that to Kenya's 2010 hearing, where over 500,000 submissions were sent nationwide. Do you see the contrast? Kenyan citizens flooded the process. Nigerian citizens left it in the hands of politicians, lobbyists, and consultants. That's part of the reason the Constitution just doesn't feel right. Imagine if youth groups across the country committed to sending delegations to every public hearing. Imagine if we flooded the process, not with anger, but with numbers, facts, and persistence. Imagine if young Nigerians filled those empty seats. The elite monopoly on constitutional amendment would end overnight. Stay organized, stay focused, stay engaged. This is Civic Room with Menkete, and I'll see you in the next episode.